You should start hearing me any second here now. If my cell phone rings, would you just grab it or shut it off or whatever it does? Good afternoon, Tony Dottino here, founder, chairman of the USA Memory Championship and the president of Dottino Consulting Group. And I'm here to tell you I am excited about some of the updates that we're making to our USA Memory Championship website. I had a first look at some of the changes and modifications that we've made to it over the last week. I think it's a lot simpler for people to look at it. We have just got so much information about it. First, registering for this year's competition, which is July 30th, where we have the qualifying events that'll be virtually. Then hosting and identifying our sponsors, the people that are helping us to put the event together, which can go anywhere from Lumosity to Memory League to Dottino Consulting to I think I've already said Lumosity. So we've had a number of people that have been helpful to us in organizing the coming year's event, and then we'll have the qualifying events on July 30th, and from there move towards having live stage events, which we're hoping, if this COVID thing would ever go away, we would do up at MIT, but we're in the backup here of going back to Orlando and hosting it at the Rosen Center, which is where Full Sail University did a fabulous job of streaming the event on YouTube. So we've got plan A, B, and C, and my goodness, with the latest news and the variants that are continuing to come, I think we still need to be one of the things the committee wants to be is very smart, very safe and careful about where and what we do and what has to happen. So that's our website that we're making some progress with. You'll have the opportunity of finding where different classes are that we have. We have the Maximum Memory Mastery, which I think has taken the essence of the events and what we've learned in 22 years and distilling it and putting it onto a really superb online course that people can take at their own pace and own speed. We've got the elements of brain health, which I've been talking about for the last 6 months, and that just continues to be supported by the scientific literature on how can we maintain strong, healthy brains and maintain that through our life. And then we're working on a course on how to become a super learner, which is how do you take these things that we teach about in terms of memory, and how do you bring those forward and use them in day-to-day life. So, for example, I'm in New York this past week and getting ready tomorrow to get back to Windermere, Florida, where I'm expecting it to be a whole lot warmer than it's been up in the Northeast. But in one of the things that I was working on, there's an organization that wants to build some improvements and enhance their culture. And they have what they call these cultural frameworks. Well, in the teachings of the Loci method and or the Roman Room, wouldn't it be really something if you could get every employee from the top senior executives down through the executive management at the district area levels, down to location managers and employees, and remember and just lock in what their cultural values are. And I think their cultural values are fantastic, and the way they've done the work to bring these values to aligned piece of thinking with their executive team, I think has just been fantastic. So wouldn't it be terrific if now you could use a memory skill or a memory technique like a Roman Room, or like building a story, or like how to interface and build a macro master associating and linking connecting system to the behaviors that exist within the employees and the managers every single day. And so wouldn't that just be, if we could lock in the fact that our values are all about how we care for one another and how we care not just for one another, but how we care for our customers and how we even care for our families and our community members. Wouldn't that just be awesome if you could lock in the value with the behaviors that fit in with that value into the thinking and the memories and code that in each and every employee and each and every manager, and therefore you create what I call a buzz, a consistent communication and buzzing of, wow, this place is just amazing and what they do and how they care for people. Because why I hit that one is getting people to retain that as a value of what they're trying to accomplish in their culture. Is science has told us today, when people care for one another, there is so much more willingness and openness in conversation. There's much more willingness in working together. There's much more creativity that comes out of the process. And so if we could then take a memory skill that comes out of the USA Memory Championship from what we've learned over 22 years and bring that to every employee within the organization, wouldn't that help their behaviors and just be creative and spontaneous in being able to live out that value on a day-to-day basis? So I go from the USA Memory Championship and look at what the men and women that have demonstrated over 22 years of remembering what we call list of data. So we give them 500 words or 500 things, and what they have to do is remember it. And suppose those things were not just an arbitrary list of things that we create for them to find the USA Memory Champion winner, but we change that list to the important values and behaviors that exist within an enterprise or within an organization. And it could be in a banking organization, a hospitality organization, a hospital organization, a retail organization, doesn't matter. If we can take the skill that we use at the Memory Championship and bring that forward into a group of people in any kind of enterprise and say, and we want you to remember these things so that when you're interacting with your customers, you're interacting with one another, and or if you're interacting with family members or community people, these are the things that you want to have right up in here and right out in front so that your behaviors line up with those values and with those behaviors, which then would lead to expanding a collaboration, the collaboration of people as a team. And that we are all in this together. And boy, do we not need more socialization in working together today more than ever. And through the lockdowns and the pandemics and whatever, right? What's the biggest thing that you're hearing from people and kids and age groups and seniors? It doesn't matter what the age group was. Isolation and loneliness. Isolation and loneliness. And the data is coming out now about the people on drugs and depression and alcohols and suicides, all from isolation and loneliness. And so imagine if you could lock into these values of an organization and what they try and achieve, bring them to behaviors on a day-to-day basis, and then expand that to collaborate in what we call have one another's back. Have people's back so that everybody is playing towards the same objectives, towards the same end goals, and they're taking ownership to those goals. And therefore, it's not about, well, let me try to do this. It's no, this is what I do. This is how I own it. And this is the actions that I'm planning to take to make sure that we create the reality around it. And so from a memory skill technique, we lock in the things that we are focused on, that we want to achieve as our primary outcomes and goals. We bring those to behaviors and or actions in a day-to-day basis. That helps us collaborate with people on a much more positive way, generates some energy so that you get, more than anything, you get an urgency that generates a celebration of success. And wouldn't that just be a heck of a way to operate? Wouldn't that just be a fun place in today's environment to say, and I work there, and I contribute to those elements of an organization's culture. And by God, we are the best at what we do, and we strive every day to do that. So from the USA Memory Championship, we've got a new website. We've got some new dates, not new dates. We got July 30th coming up, and the months are going by quickly at this point. Take a look at it. Not yet, and probably won't be released for another week, but take a look at it and see what's there and something that you can grab for it. and hope to see you at least on the broadcast that we do when we go virtual on this July 30th of this year for our 23rd USA Memory Championship. Have a great evening. I'm back to Florida tomorrow. I'll see you on Wednesday night back in Windermere, Florida.